Before you ever say a word, she's already reading you. Not just your clothes, not your haircut, not even your smile, she's reading your silence. It's something most men overlook. They think attraction starts when they speak, when they flirt, when they impress. The truth is, it starts long before that. A woman can feel your energy in the way you don't talk. See, most guys are uncomfortable with silence. The moment there's a pause, they scramble to fill it. They fidget, they talk too much. They laugh at things that aren't funny because deep down they're anxious. That anxiety leaks out in their energy, and women pick up on it instantly. It's not because they're trying to, because they feel it. They're hardwired to sense what's behind the mask. But then there's the man who doesn't rush, who walks into a space, holds eye contact without trying to dominate, and sits in silence like it's an old friend. His body doesn't twitch. His energy doesn't reach. He's not proving anything, and that changes everything. That kind of silent, steady, calm, grounded, says more than words ever could. It says, I'm comfortable with myself. I don't need to win you over. I'm not here to perform. It's powerful because it's rare. It's the presence of someone who's done the work on the inside. To a woman, that silence says, this man has depth. He's not desperate. He's not seeking permission to exist in the room. He just is. And whether she admits it or not, that hits her on a level she doesn't even fully understand. Because real presence doesn't shout, it holds space. And when you can hold space without needing to fill it, you become unforgettable. Not because of what you said, but because of what she felt when you said nothing. Long before she knows your name. She knows something far more important, how you feel about yourself. You might not say it outright, but it's written all over. You, in your posture, in your tone, in the way your eyes move when no one's watching. A man's relationship with himself is impossible to hide, and a woman can sense it within moments. If you walk through the world needing attention, trying to be noticed, or fishing for approval, she picks up on it. That kind of energy says, I'm not sure I'm enough unless you tell me I am. And while you may not think it's obvious, it shows up in the smallest ways. How you laugh too hard to fit in. How you try too much to impress. How you react. When you're not the center of attention, but then there's the man who moves differently. He's not withdrawn. He's just good being with himself. He's calm in his own presence. He enjoys solitude, not because he's antisocial, but because he's at peace. He doesn't need the room to look at him for him to feel valuable. That creates a quiet confidence that speaks for itself. That's what draws her in. When your confidence comes from within, not from her reaction, it creates a gravitational pull. You're not trying to win her over. You're just living in alignment with who you are. You're whole already. She can feel when you're not performing. Not bending or reaching. When you're rooted in your own identity, that energy is magnetic. Not because you're trying to be attractive, but because you already are without needing her to confirm it. And that's rare, because most men chase validation. But the man who doesn't need it, he stands out without saying a word. Some men walk into a room and instantly shift the energy, not by being loud, not by demanding attention, but by how aware they are. It's not about swagger, it's about presence. Calm, grounded man who walks in, takes a breath, scans the room, and settles into the space without rushing. That man carries a quiet authority that speaks volumes. He doesn't force eye contact to intimidate or impress. He meets eyes naturally, with intention, then moves on. He's not looking around to see who's watching him. He's simply observing, tuned into his environment. That awareness, that calm control of his surroundings, says something important. I'm comfortable here. I don't need to take over the room to own it. This kind of presence isn't about dominating a space. It's about harmonizing with it while still standing firm in who you are. You're not seeking approval. You're not comparing yourself. To every other man in the room, you're centered.
That's the difference.
And women feel it. Most guys think being noticed means being the loudest, but real power is subtle. It's the stillness in your posture, the intentional way you move, the way you seem unshaken no matter who's around. It says you've done your inner work, that you don't need to perform because who you are already holds weight. To a woman, it's deeply attractive. It shows leadership, not the loud, bossy kind, but the steady, grounded kind. It tells her you're not reactive, not seeking control, but in control. And control of yourself is the most powerful form of leadership there is. You don't have to say a word to take up space. Your awareness, your calm, your unshaken energy does all the talking. And when she feels that, she doesn't just notice you. Stay on her mind. She pays close attention to how you carry yourself, especially when you think no one's watching. Not just your words, but your energy in the in-between moments. How you walk, how you sit, how you treat people who can't offer you anything. This is where your real character speaks loudest. You can fake charm. You can memorize lines. But integrity, that's lived. And it shows in the small, often unnoticed gestures. Holding the door for a stranger, saying thank you like you mean it. Listening without interrupting. Keeping your cool when things go sideways. These moments reveal who you really are. And women notice them more than you think. She's watching how you act when there's no audience. Because if you're only kind when you're trying to impress, that's not kindness, that's strategy. But when your energy is calm, respectful, and steady regardless of who's around, that's integrity. That's safety. And safety is one of the deepest levels of attraction a woman can feel. Not physical safety alone, but emotional safety. The sense that you're not unpredictable, that your values don't shift with the room you're in. It's easy to be cool. When everything's going your way, it's who you are when it's not that reveals your depth. She notices whether your respect is consistent. Whether you treat the janitor and the CEO with the same dignity, whether you speak about others with integrity, even when they're not there. This isn't about putting on a show. It's about living with alignment. When your public face and your private choices match, you become someone she can trust. Trust creates space for attraction to grow into something real. In a world full of performance, it's a man who lives his values quietly, consistently is unforgettable. Because that kind of energy doesn't just attract, it reassures, it inspires, it lasts. A man with direction doesn't need to explain himself. You can feel it in how he moves. There's intention in every step, clarity in every decision, and focus in his eyes even when he's not speaking. That's what makes him stand out. Not just because he's going somewhere, but because he's going with purpose, with or without anyone by his side. Women feel this immediately. It's not something you need to declare. When your life is fueled by something bigger than getting attention or chasing validation, it radiates from you. Your purpose shapes how you show up, how you walk, how you talk, how you treat your time. And when a woman senses that your world is already in motion, that you're building something with meaning, it sparks her curiosity. Most men wander through life waiting for something to give them direction, a relationship, a job, a title. But the man who chooses his direction, who builds from the inside out, is different. He's not waiting to be saved by success or connection. He's already doing the work. That's what gives him presence. It's not about being rigid or unavailable. It's about knowing who you are and where you're going and never making someone else the source of your identity. That kind of grounded ambition is magnetic, it tells her. I'd like you to be a part of this, but I don't need you to be. That doesn't push her away. It pulls her in. Because deep down, every woman wants to walk beside a man who knows where he's headed. Not just for status, but because it feels safe, inspiring, and real. When your life has purpose, you don't chase, you attract. And the right woman will recognize the difference. She'll want to be near that fire, not to complete you, but to walk with you.